Russia and Belarus have launched their biggest war games in years, Zapad 2025, just days after Russian drones violated Polish airspace. NATO's eastern flank is on edge. Poland has sealed its Belarus border, deployed 40,000 troops, and warns it faces its most dangerous moment since World War II. Moscow calls the drills routine. Europe calls it a warning shot. Russia and Belarus have begun large-scale military exercises, raising alarm across NATO's eastern flank just days after Warsaw accused Moscow of sending attack drones across Polish airspace, a major escalation that sent shivers through Europe. The Zapad 2025 maneuvers, which run from September 12 to September 16th, are taking place as Russian forces continue their slow advance in Ukraine and intensify air attacks on Ukrainian cities. Earlier on September 11th, the Russian Defense Ministry said,
"The objectives of the drills are to improve the skills of commanders and staffs, the level of cooperation and field training of regional and coalition groupings of troops."
The ministry said that in the first stage, troops will simulate repelling an attack against Russia and Belarus, whose alliance is known as the Union State. The second stage will focus on restoring the territorial integrity of the Union State and crushing the enemy, including with the participation of a coalition group of forces from friendly states. Russia, on September 12th, said that European concerns about Russian and Belarusian military exercises were based on excessive emotions and hostility towards Russia. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Western European countries were suffering emotional overload and that Russia did not pose a threat to them.
Now, when the Western Europe has taken a hostile posture toward us, naturally all this overflows for those countries into the emotional overload. I want to remind the words by our president, Vladimir Putin. Russia has never threatened anyone. It does not threaten the countries of Europe either. It was not Russia who moved toward Europe with its military infrastructure. On the contrary, Europe being an integral part of the NATO alliance, which is a tool of confrontation, not a tool of peace and stability, has always moved toward our borders.
But tensions are running high. Poland shut its last open border crossings with Belarus overnight, with state media in Minsk showing guards laying barbed wire along the frontier. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk described the coming period as critical days, warning that his country was closer to open conflict than at any time since World War II. Meanwhile, the Baltic nation Lithuania's fears have been exacerbated by Zapad 2025, joint maneuvers between Russia and Belarus involving tens of thousands of soldiers. Zapad, which means West in Russian, is the name given to these exercises, which began in 1977 and have taken place every 4 years since, with interruptions, mainly on Belarusian territory. This year, soldiers will not only train with tanks and machine guns, but also with Russia's new Oreshnik missiles, which can reportedly carry nuclear warheads. As a result, Lithuania's border guards have received extra training in recent weeks. They will carry out additional patrols during the joint military exercises, explained General Rustamas Liubajevas from Lithuania's Border Control Service to DW. Now, Russia is much more taken as a possible aggressor. We are preparing for a very broad range of provocations. Russia is reported to have deliberately brought thousands of migrants to Belarus in 2022 to send them across the border to Poland and other countries. DW reported that some experts believe that Russia intended to destabilize the European Union and its members by doing so. General Liubajevas said that Lithuania was preparing in case soldiers crossed the border without permission or sent drones across. He said that there had been such hybrid attacks before. All of the Baltic states report regularly that drones violate their airspace. In July, 2 drones crashed in Lithuania after entering the country from Belarus. Earlier this month, Russian drones allegedly violated Polish airspace and were shot down. Meanwhile, Poland is deploying around 40,000 soldiers to the country's borders with Belarus and Russia amid heightened tensions following an alleged recent drone incursion and the Zapad military exercise. The closely watched manoeuvres, as well as NATO's reaction, will come under even greater scrutiny in light of events on September 10th, which saw Polish and Dutch military aircraft shoot down Russian drones. The periodic joint Russian-Belarusian exercises, named Zapad 2025, are expected to involve tens of thousands of troops, prompting Poland's decision to deploy about 40,000 of its own soldiers near the eastern border. Cezary Tomczyk, Poland's deputy defense minister, told broadcaster Polsat News.
Poland has been preparing for the Zapad 2025 maneuvers for many months.
Tomczyk echoed other political leaders' fears that the exercises could be a precursor to Russian aggression towards NATO and EU countries. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said earlier this week that very aggressive scenarios will be acted out by Russia and Belarus during the exercises, drawing parallels with similar drills held ahead of Russia's invasions of Georgia in 2008, as well as its attack on Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia, on September 11th, urged Poland to reopen its border with Belarus, Moscow's close ally, calling the closure destructive and warning of consequences. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced on September 9th the closure of the border with Belarus from 12:00 a.m. on September 12th, local time, in response to the joint Russian-Belarusian military drill.
We urge Warsaw to consider the consequences of such destructive steps and to review its decision as soon as possible.
The border closure was to justify a policy of further escalating tensions in the centre of Europe, she added. NATO's eastern flank members, Poland, Lithuania and Latvia, are on high alert due to the massive drills, which, according to Tusk, are designed to simulate the occupation of the Suwalki corridor, a strategically important area in Poland,